Hi folks, welcome to my lap in the Porsche 911 GT3R at LeMans 24-hour new circuit. I'm going to take you around here and show you how I get around and little secrets here and there around the track and how to get a quick time. I did a reasonably quick time here, so we'll just get into it here right away. We're crossing the start finish here to start and into the Dunlop curve and Dunlop chicane. So I will stop at probably every corner and maybe go back and through it, but I'll zip through the streets. So hopefully it's not too long a video. So here we go. We're going to start off coming out of the last chicane and lead down the straight here, full blast. Stay out wide to the left, use all the curbing out there, and then cut the corner. You want to stay on the rumple stripping here and not cut too much. If you get over here too much, you'll get a slowdown. So I tend to kind of just ride right around the rumple strip. My braking point is this white stripe up here. So notice that I'm full out coming off that last out of the four chicanes. I'm full on the throttle and up through the gears. I'm into sixth gear here. And I'm coming into the Dunlop chicane, full blast, and I'm going to brake probably just a little bit before the white marker here on the outside of the right of the track. So let's go through this and look at it in slow motion. Here we go. I'm onto the brakes just as that white marker is disappearing. It's almost full brake, a little bit of ABS here, but you want to for this chicane, it's all about getting a good speed off of it. It's very tricky. A lot of people take it too fast, come in here too hard, have to slow down too much to go up here, or else end up getting a cutting the course slowdown. So you want to slow down here. So it's important. I brake at that white marker and I slow down, because once you get around this first corner here, you want to be onto the accelerator all the way through the rest of it and then down, because it's all full throttle basically down to the sort of to the eases, I guess, which is the corner before Terre Rouge. So let's go back here a little bit. I'll take you through it in full motion. Notice the braking here. I'm braking hard. I shouldn't have my foot on the gas here. This is a bad habit that I tend to have. You're either braking or you're accelerating, but shouldn't be doing both. And I'm really bad around this corner here, but it worked out for me. So you want to slow down, really slow down. It's better to be going slower here than too fast, because you just scrub off all the speed at the top of the hill and down the hill. So here we go. So I'll take you back through that real quick. Okay, so when you turn in, oops, back here. So you're going to turn in and you're going to be aiming to cut these rumple strips here. So these ones on the inside, you can quite them quite aggressively, and I do. The ones on the top here on the right hand side, as you go across the top of the hill, you don't want to cut those. They bounce the car around quite a bit, and you cut them too much, you'll get a slowdown. You won't get the slowdown here at the bottom for whatever reason, but that's the way the track is set up. So here we go in slow motion. So I'm aiming here, I'm cutting in, trying to cut all these rumple strips here right to the edge of the dirt almost. And then I'm onto the gas here just as much as I can to make this turn up here. Just cutting the curb there, but staying off the rumple strips. And when you get up here, I'm full throttle. But the trick with this is you can run over this first little marker here. The second one, you've got to be inside that, or else you will get a slowdown. So that's the limit of the track. So I'm right on the limit here, and I just brush by this, and I do not get a slowdown as we go here. So here you go. I'm just brushing by. I was close, but I made it. Now down the rest of this, it's full out, full throttle. Use all the track. Key here is to be very steady with the wheel, no sudden movements. Ease it back in here. Use all the track here. take this curb. You can even take all these markers out here. Then you won't get to slow down and use that bit of track there. I tend to do that most of the time. I didn't that time. And then coming down into the eases here, you want to brake, and again, you want to brake early so that you can get on the gas and be full on the gas in the corner, because then it's full out right down to the bottom of the hill where you go on to the straight. Again, we'll take it in slow motion here. So I'm braking, quick dab on the brakes and to slow it down, but then now I'm starting to ease back on. I'm on the apex, right on the curb. Notice how the track, if you back up here, notice how the track, there's a little groove almost here. You get your wheel in there, you can really carry a lot of speed here because the track is canted in here, and you have quite a bit of banking that you can use, and the same on the top up here. But if you get outside here on the top, you lose that banking, and you'll end up sliding off at the same speed, or you have to slow down to make the corner. So that's another little trick. So up we go here, and again, I'm full on the gas now. I'm going up through the gears. That was the third gear, fourth gear. Let the car ride out. And if you kept it nice and tight there, you have enough room on the outside to get here. And now coming down towards this corner. Now this corner is probably one of the most important corners for getting a quick time on this track, because it's followed by the longest straight, and where if you don't get this corner right, you'll just be bleeding time all the way down the straight. But if you get it right, you'll be gaining time all the way down the straight, and it's a big difference here. So it's a very tough corner because of the out of bounds or the off track limits, and where you'll get a slowdown both on the inside of the corner and on the outside of the corner. My preference here is I used to go fourth gear and then brake a little bit, and then, get through the corner and then into fifth gear. But I've found the faster way is to shift up here when you get to the red line into fifth gear and take this whole corner in fifth gear. So I'm going to go through it here in slow motion, and you can see, keep out to the outside, widen the car, drop the throttle. That's all I'm doing. I'm not braking, and then onto the throttle as I come through. So again, let's show that again. So I'll go back here. So I'm full throttle, dropping the throttle as I turn in. Not completely letting go of the throttle, but I'm off it. I'm cutting the corner here. Stay off the yellows, because those yellows will bounce the car and you'll get an off track. And then as soon as you hit the apex, you're onto the gas. And the key here is this striping here. You got to keep your car on here. So the right-hand side tires need to stay on this. If they get off and onto the blue here, you're toast, and you'll end up getting a second slowdown. So you can see as we go through here, I am very close. And when I look at the wheels at the back, I'm probably like right here to going off. But that's what you need to do to get a good run. Again, right at the apex back there, full throttle, fifth gear, and then I come very close, but I stay on there, and now it's all the way down the straight, going right through the gears. Stay to the right. I tend to stay to the right, and then ease over once I get down to the downhill section over to the other side. That leaves me the ability to defend if I need to. If somebody's right on my tail, I just stay on that right-hand side. And if it's safe to do so, I'll come over here and set up for this corner. Now, coming into this corner, obviously you're going fast. You're going as fast as the car will go and the arrow will go. Note that if you're drafting behind a car, you'll be going faster than this, and you have to accommodate for that little extra speed in your braking zone. I'm braking just before the 100. This is a nighttime or dusk here right now, and you can see there's a little reflector right there, and that's where I tend to brake, and we'll go into it slow motion here. And again, this is a chicane. You want to be able to do all your braking here pretty much up front and trail into, and then at the apex of the top here, you want to be able to get onto the gas. And you need to be pretty aggressive in cutting the corner on this side and at the top of that chicane, and as well as the exit to the chicane. Use all the track that's given to you. You won't get an off track for that. And so here we go. So we'll go in slow motion. I'm looking for this little reflector here. maybe a little more aggressive on the brakes and go past it. So there I go. I'm onto the brakes. Threshold braking around 85, 90% because you've got so much speed. You can put so much brake into the car. Trailing into this, taking the curb hard, and taking a good chunk of it down to second gear. And here I am turning in. Now I'm getting on the gas. I'm being very aggressive. Look at how much curb I'm taking here. And then off I go. I'm full throttle here. That's all the way. And then take a bit of this curb on the way out and then down the straight. And that's a good, it's all about getting a good exit off here and a good speed down the straight. So let's go back and look at that in full motion. Brake hard, turn in, use that curb, use the curb on the inside. Don't hit those poles, that's an off track. And away you go, up through the gears, down the track here. Staying to the right hand side because we know the next corner is a left-hander. As I come down here, I'm braking just before the 100. And again, it's very hard braking. You're going not quite as fast, but you're still going considerable speed here. So you can apply a lot of brake and then turn in and use the curb on the turn in and use the curb on the top. You have to be a little more careful. You can't be as aggressive as you were back at the last one because you'll get a slowdown for cutting that curb at the top. So I tend to stay off it and just stay on the curb side. And let's see what I did this time through here. So we'll take it in slow motion. Here I come. Here comes the 100. Boom, I'm on the brakes as I'm passing it. Hard brake in a straight line and then turn in, and I'm easing off here, trailing in, taking that curb big time and just brushing this one as I go around. But as I come around here, I want to be full throttle as I go around there, taking this curb out here, and away I go. So I'm going to go back here. So you can be aggressive here and take a good chunk of this, leave half the car over the curb here and you'll be fine. Here, if you get up on top of this curb too much, it seems to be much more restrictive than the previous chicane, and I'll give you a slowdown. So I just skim the curbing here, getting back, on the throttle here, full throttle, and down we go. Use this, if you get the whole car up on top here and miss this curb, you will get a slowdown. But as long as your wheels are, seem to be on this side of the curbing, you'll be fine. So just ride it off, keeping the car under control down the hill. Now, if you end up going wide here, I'll mention right up here, kind of where this box is a big bump, and you want to get your car back onto the road here before you hit that, because it'll jar your car and bounce it around. And I've seen cars hit that and spin and all kinds of stuff. So just a word to the wise: if you're running wide here, don't accelerate down this curb because there's a big bump down here and it'll throw your car around. I stay away from it. As soon as I come around here, I'll sort of veer around to make sure I miss it, and you'll see that here. Making sure I'm staying off that, kind of like where that white line is, maybe a little bit past it. Accelerating down the main straight here. Again, just sort of ease your car over because you know you've got a right-hander coming up. Okay, so I stay over here. Again, you want to use all the track that's given to you. You want to cut in and cut for the apex here. Just inside this cone. I tend to just be inside it, or sometimes I clip it. I try not to clip it because then people behind you won't have it there as a reference, but it's right at the 100. But you're not braking here. You're turning in under full throttle. You're not going to brake until almost you get to the curbing up here, between the sort of where the line ends here in the road, the white dotted line, and where the curbing is where I'll start to brake and brake hard. So here I go. Oops, I probably clipped it there. But here I'm full on the throttle there. So I am not braking until that curb disappears here. So you got to really carry the speed as much as you can here. And now you want to set your car up in a straight line here and aim for that cone, just inside that cone up here at the corner, with your hard braking and hard straight line braking. So threshold braking, just blinking on the ABS. And when you get to that cone, you want to stay inside it. If you hit that cone, typically you'll get a slowdown. You can just skim it and it'll be okay, but you just want to stay inside it, and that's really your mark to start turning in. And you want to cut this corner as well, but you got to be careful on this one because it's got a brutal slowdown if you cut it too much, and you get like 2 seconds or something like that on this. So you want to cut the curbing, but not into where these poles are or too much of that. So you'll see as I go through here, I take a good chunk of the curbing, but I'm not getting anywhere near to the inside of the curbing. I start to turn in right at the away from that pylon, and here I go. I'm coming here, and I'm taking like a good chunk, and you'll feel the car dip down here. There's a little dip in between the curbs, but I'm trailed into here and just letting off the brakes, and now back onto the gas once the car settles, and away I go. Got a little wide there, got a little bit of gravel, but got away with it. It's probably not my fastest corner there, but overall it worked out for the lap. So we'll go back and look through that whole complex in full motion. All happens pretty fast because you're going pretty fast. Here we go, full on the gas, still full, hard on the brakes, look for the cone, turn away from it, right into the corner, take the curb and onto the gas. And away you go. Here I stay on the right-hand side. It just shortens this turn, this long right-hander. And as we come up to the Indianapolis sort of complex here, I'm going to ease the car over to this side. And I don't brake. You'll notice I'll just maybe feather the brake, but I'm just letting off just as this green sort of disappears here is where I'll start. Notice I've just got a hair of brake on. That's just my foot resting on the brake, and I'm going to let off on the. I'm letting off just a smidgen of brake, but then I'm basically coasting through this, coasting, and then once the car straightens out, then I'm hard on the brakes because I'm going faster. You look at the speed here. You know, you're 150 miles an hour coming into a corner here pretty quick. There's a lot of banking on this corner, so you want to get into the inside of it. If you don't, you'll be flying out into the wall. But get the car straightened out, and as soon as it's straight, you want to be hard on the brakes. So hard on the brakes, hard on the brakes. You want to stay out here, open up the corner, and then trail into it, and then right on the gas all the way out, right at the apex. I made a bit of a mistake here in that I went over this curb. You don't really want to do that. You want to stay down here, keep the car hooked in, use the banking to your advantage here to maximize the speed. So I lost a little bit of speed here against some of my faster times, but again, it worked out on the overall lap. But here I am at the apex, and I'm getting on onto the accelerator, and that's, you know, if you've listened to some of my videos, that's what I harp about. If you can get on the gas, on the accelerator at the apexes or just before, you're going to get a good push off the corner and gain a lot of speed. Use all the track on the outside, but stay off that gravel, obviously. So let's go back and look at that in real speed. Looks great in slow motion, but in real speed, things are happening pretty quick here. Off. Car straight in, not hard on the brakes, right in, dive into that banking, and away we go. Okay, here's a little secret. You can go out wide here. You can go as wide as you want. You can use all this track as long as you're inside before the cone. You hit that cone or you stay outside over that cone, you're going to get a slowdown. So you can widen up this corner, and I treat this corner kind of similar as we did down at the bottom of the course there, where we use that cone as a point to turn in. So you turn away from the cone into the corner. And so this will gain you a lot of speed. I see a lot of people staying on here and then, turning in and have to slow down because it's a lot tighter corner. Stay out here wide and use the, I don't start braking until right about here. There's no real good points. It's kind of where I guess just before the 50, kind of where these black marks are on the course. These are permanent marks. I use those as sort of a reference to, again, get hard on the brakes. Fairly amount of speed here, but not huge, but still got to get the car slowed down. So here we go, boom, probably right at the 50. And then I turn in, I'm trailing off, using this curb. And then as I go across, I'm onto the accelerator, and away we go. So I'll go back there and show that in real speed. I ended up spinning the wheels a bit there and lost a bit of time. I got too excited on the accelerator, but got to ease onto it and hopefully not spin the wheels. Turn away from the cone, use all the track, go to the accelerator, a little bit of wheel spin, but I'm away. Going up here, just stay to the left-hand side of the track. And here we come to probably one of the most important parts of the track. You do this right, you can gain tons of speed on a lot of people. And we're coming into the Porsche curves here. You can take these a lot faster than you think, but you've got to use all the track that's given you. So see that I'm way over here on the left-hand side of the track. I'm opening up this corner as much as I can. I'm looking for this green mark here on the side of the track. I'll keep it accelerated and then till I get to about there, and then I will brake, not hard braking. I'll slow down just enough to get onto the inside curb here. And then once I'm on that inside curb, I'm full out on the accelerator. And when I do this right, I'm pretty much full out on the accelerator here in fourth gear. Then in fifth gear on the next one, I'm full out on the accelerator, out to the wall, but not hitting the wall. And then cutting in, I can do the whole thing full on the accelerator. But you got to hit it right to do that. But it starts by using all the track. So I'm going to go out here using all the track. I'm looking for this. As I pass it, I'm getting on the brakes, but just a little dab of the brakes. Now I'm easing off because I want to just enough to get to the curbing here. And so I know I'm going to get the curb, and so I'm onto the gas. I'm feathering it, but I'm right onto it. Got it pinned now. Okay, as far over here as I can to the right-hand side, but I got to get it over here. Use all the curbing here. Use everything that's given to you. Even half a tire on the grass is pretty good here. And then let it, notice how I've got it pinned here all the way. Now I'm coming in here and I'm using that one big circle to come around here. I left off just a little bit, but back onto it again. And that's all one sort of big turn. And the key to this is not to get too jittery with the wheel and start, sawing it back and forth. It's all about being smooth and keeping the weight transfer of the car steady so it's not jerking around. So as soon as it does that, your toast is going to spin. So I'm going through here, accelerating. Now I'm transferring the weight to the other side of the car, to the right side, and going through here. Now all one big curve here. So out to the wide and then come back in. And then again, got to slow down for this one. A little bit of braking, but use the curb. Keep on the curb. Use as much gas as you can to keep on the curb. I almost touched a little bit of grass here. And then you got to turn in to make this corner. And this is another tough corner, but we'll go through it and then we'll go back through the whole complex again. So here, I want to take the curb. I'm just feathering the throttle until I know I can make that corner and run out here. But you don't want to run it out onto the yellow striping out there, or you'll get a slowdown. So you've got to stay on this curbing, or else you will get a slowdown. And then it's onto the four corners and chicane up there. So let's go back and go through that all. It's all about flow through here. So nice, easy, even flow. Turning in onto the gas now. fifth gear, using the curb, braking to make this one, but staying in tight, stay tight, because you got to open this one up, and open it up, and away we go. Use all the track, use those curbs. Okay, coming up the Ford chicanes here, the last corners on the track. You can open them up, the first one, by getting out here on the pit-in road a little bit and get a little better angle. I see lots of people go out there. I tend not to go too far because I don't want to miss it and bounce the car around too much on this curbing out here. But I'll go out here, keep it as wide as possible. I brake just before the end of the dotted line here. And again, this is kind of about pace and getting through here. So you want to slow down enough so you can cut this apex. You cut the next apex, but the next apex you can't cut too much, or else you got to slow down. The same with this one. I'll show you as we get in here. So notice the angle now. I'm coming in a bit more angle. I went out there and I've started to brake. I've got my foot on the gas, which I shouldn't have. That's bad. And I'm coming in here, I'm aiming here, I'm braking hard, trailing in, and now just kind of coasting through this. Little dab of gas here between the two of them, then braking hard. And here I'm taking a good chunk of this curb. You can't take it all, you can't get your wheels, your right-hand wheels up here on the curb, or else you got to slow down, but you can take a good chunk of this to make sure half your car is over the curbing here, and you should be okay. But I'm going to bounce over here, but it's going to open up this a little bit. And as soon as the car stops bouncing around, I can get onto the gas. So here I am. I'm just sort of feathering the throttle, and once the car is settled down, boom, I'm onto the throttle to the start finish. So let's have a look at that in real time. Take the curb, take a big chunk of the curb, car settles down, get going. And across the line, this was a 3:53.719. It was my first lap out, so I took 10 gallons of fuel, I believe it was, and then so I started this lap, I think it was 8 gallons of fuel, and it was my first flying lap using the low downforce standard iRacing setup. With so I came out of the pits with 10 gallons. The flying lap was 8 gallons, and pretty good time, especially for me, anyways. So there's lots of time to be had there with a few of those tricks and secrets. I'm going to go back and we'll show this whole lap in real time, so that you can see the whole lap. Stay out wide, cut this corner, full speed, full throttle. Looking for that white line and brake hard. Turn in, use all that curb, avoid that curb, but full on the gas at the curb, avoid that second marker. Use all the track here, cut it tight, brake a little bit in, use the banking, it's all full throttle there. Slight lift, use the curb on the inside, and then onto the gas, down the straight. Stay to the right. Have a sip of coffee or other beverage you may have. You're looking for that reflector, hard on the brakes. Take the curb hard, and on the accelerator at the apex, and right out through the corner and out onto the street. Another sip. Answer some emails. for the 100. Using all the track, get out there. Hard on the brakes. Use the curb. Accelerator at the apex. Use that curb on the exit. And away we go. Avoid that bump. Stay off to the left a bit. Looking for the 100 marker or the cone. Hopefully the cone is there for you. Brake. Turn in at the cone. Cut the corner, but not too much. Accelerator at the corner. Up through the gears. Stay to the right. It's a long right-hand corner. Shortest distance. Ease your way over to the left for the Indianapolis complex here. Lift and coast. Hard on the brakes when the car gets straightened out into the corner here. Accelerator at the apex. Use all the track, get it wide, brake hard there at the 50 and turn in at the cone. Accelerator at the apex and away we go. Thinking about the smoothness we need up here at the Porsche's corners, curves, and keeping it on the left-hand side of the track. Alright, way over using all the track. Okay, braking. Okay, I'm gonna make it. I'm on the accelerator. Onto the accelerator through the 5th gear. Big continuous corner. Braking. Staying tight. Using all the track there. Widens out, and away we go. Out wide, brake hard, clip the curb, clip a lot of the curb, accelerator. And there you go. That's a lap of Le Mans. Hopefully there's some tricks in there that you saw that can help you cut your speed. Remember that with all these long straights, the importance is getting off the corners as best you can. So better off to lose a little time going in on the braking, but you want to be able to get on that accelerator as soon as you can to get the most going down the straight, because that's where you're going to gain the most time on this track, because all it is a whole bunch of long straights tied together with a few curves here and there. Work on the Porsche's curves. That's a big section where you can gain a lot of time, and just be smooth through there and use all the track that's given to you, and smooth on your inputs, and you'll do fine. Good luck on the race on Friday.